Welcome, and thank you for joining us for our second tax chat of this season. Today, we will be focusing the conversation around the child tax credit. We know the child tax credit is not a new thing, but there are some things that are different for this year. A little housekeeping before we get things started. This chat is being broadcasted via Facebook Live. If you're joining us live on Facebook or Zoom and you have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat or the comment section. If you're watching this as a recording, feel free to still add your comments to the comment section and we will follow up even after the fact. So my name is Miranda Enquist. I am Legacy Foundation's Community Engagement Coordinator. Legacy Foundation is Lake County, Indiana's community foundation, and we have partnered with Urban League of Northwest Indiana, Faith CDC, and the South Shore Neighborhood Development Corporation to provide tax assistance to Lake County residents. I'm joined by my tax expert colleagues representing each of these organizations. So let's do a short round of introductions. Tersina, I will start with you.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Tersina Jones. I am the site coordinator at the Urban League of Northwest Indiana.
Thank you. And then Mayoris.
Hi, good morning. My name is Mayoris Green. I am a manager with Whitaker & Company, and we are working with Faith CDC to assist with tax preparation this year.
Perfect. And Kelly?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kelly Aino. I'm the Vice President at Legacy Foundation.
And last but not least, Donna.
Hi, I'm Donna Catalano. I'm with South Shore Neighborhood Development Corporation, and I am working with Tersina Advita and doing tax prep.
Wonderful. Thank you. So I feel like we've been talking about the child tax credit for quite some time now. And the reason is because with the American Rescue Plan, we were able to receive advance payments last year. However, we know that there are families that did not receive those payments, or maybe they just received some of those payments. So when we're talking about the child tax credit for this tax season specifically, there's kind of three categories that qualified families could fall into. One being families who automatically receive the child tax credit advance payments. They didn't have to do anything extra to get those. Families who don't regularly file taxes, and they use the simplified portal at getctc.org to get those payments last year. And then there's also families who did not receive any advance payments, and they're looking to get their full amount of the return this year. And so during this chat, I would like to cover all three of those categories in some fashion. So getting started, I'd like to start with families who automatically received the child tax credit money last year. Just quickly, will they automatically receive payments this year? Do they have to do something specific? Do they have to provide something to their accountant, or if they do their taxes themselves, or they just automatically get that money if they file taxes?
They will not, good morning, they will not automatically receive the money. They have to, an individual who has qualified children that are eligible for the child tax credit will need to file a tax return in order to get the child tax credit money. And there is a form 8812 that is an attachment to the 1040 that will ask a few questions for eligibility purposes. So there are some steps that the individual will need to take, but they will definitely need to file a tax return to get the money.
And then if these families who automatically received the advance payments last year move forward to file their taxes like normal and they fill out the form, is there any additional documentation besides that form that they need to provide to prove that they received those advance payments last year?
There's a letter that the families will receive or should have received by now because they went out in January. The form letter is 6419, and that letter lets them know how much they received as the advance on their child tax credit. So they will need that letter in order to file their taxes. They'll need to know the amount. And if they happen not to have the letter, there are ways they can go about receiving that information, even if they go online to the IRS website in order to go to their own particular portal to get the information.
Wonderful. And then I do know that there was an option for families that were eligible to receive those advance payments, but they opted out to get that advance payment. Does that look differently for those individuals? Will they still get a letter stating that they opted out and there's no money they received last year, so they get their full credit this year? How does that work?
There will not be a letter sent out to recipients that opted out of receiving the advance payments. The individuals will then get the full portion of the credit. So a little background, the advance payments provided half of the eligible amount of the child tax credit. And so when that individual who did receive the advance, when they go to file their return this year, they will receive the remaining half of what they did not receive during 2021. For the individuals that did not receive it because their income phased out or they opted out, they will receive the full portion based on their eligibility of their income and dependence.
Wonderful. Thank you for that clarification. So then for families that utilize that simplified form, so say they traditionally don't file taxes or they don't always file taxes and they decided to use that simplified form on getctc.org to receive that advance payment in 2021, will they have to file formal taxes this year? Can they utilize that getctc.org form again, or what do they have to do?
They are going to have to file the taxes this year during the tax season. The advantage of filing the regular taxes during the tax season over the Get CTC form is that that portal is not going to be open until after the tax season closes. So they would not be able to even file that form until, May is the information that I received. So it would be more to their advantage to go to one of our sites or to one of the free sites or one of the other sites that they're used to using to get their, to file their taxes in order to get the balance of their child tax credit.
Wonderful. And then, so you talked about how the simplified form portal is not going to open until after tax season. If an individual or family does not normally file taxes, if they don't have an income, or if they have a very minimal income, are there any additional benefits besides just being able to take care of it earlier in the year, aside from waiting? Could they potentially get any extra credits or anything like that? Are there any other benefits?
It depends on whether they had, you mentioned their income. If part of their income was that earned income where they worked, but not enough to have to file taxes, have that, if their income was less than that 12,200 and they were not really required to file the taxes. Yeah, the advantage is that there is that economic income tax credit that they might be available to them as well. So it would be to their advantage to go ahead and have those taxes filed.
Wonderful. And then just to reiterate, even if the individual filed the simplified return last year for those advance payments, they will get that same IRS letter, correct? Or should have already received that IRS letter?
The individuals that went through the portal, and then other individuals who chose not to opt out automatically receive the advance payments. So those are the two groups that should be expecting or have already received the letter 6419 that Tersina mentioned earlier.
Wonderful. So then going in the direction of, if I am a family that did not receive any advance payments at all, whether it was because I did not file my taxes or whatever the case is, what does that look like for me as an individual? Am I out of luck? Can I still move forward with it? Or do I have to take extra steps?
No, you're not out of luck. Fortunately, if you did not receive the advance payments. As Mayoris already mentioned, when you file your taxes this year for 2021, you will be eligible to receive the full amount of the child tax credit, as opposed to those who receive the advance credit receiving the balance that would between the full amount and the amount they receive. So no, you're not out of luck.
Wonderful. And what should I be looking for? How much money could I be receiving? What even makes me eligible?
So the maximum amount per child for the child tax credit is $3,000. There is no limit on the number of children, but there is an age limitation. And those limitations are from newborn to age 17. Now, as far as so I did say the maximum amount is $3,000, but that's for children ages 6 through 17. And for children ages newborn to 5, the maximum amount is $3,600. So there are kind of two different amounts based on the ages of the children. So, and then if you did the advance, that $3,600 becomes $1,800, right? If we split that in half. But if you did not do the advance for the children under 5, the full amount would be $3,600. So you're looking between 3 and 6, give or take, depending on ages. And then there are thresholds for the amount of income that an individual earns. And so, and I can give you those amounts. I believe it starts phasing out for singles that are that make $75,000. And then for married filing joint, I believe it phases out at $220,000. Let's see.
What's that?
Yeah, and then it starts phasing out in $50 increments. Yeah.
So we're talking about a good amount of money. So it's worth taking those steps, even if you traditionally don't file taxes, it's worth taking those extra steps to get that money that you deserve this year. Now, what happens if another parent has already claimed the child? I see that face, Mayoris. What happens if another parent claims the child, or if another parent received the advanced child care payments last year? How does that work?
I believe that you would still file your taxes claiming the benefits that are entitled to you, okay? And as far as I can say, that would be an issue that the IRS would handle. You know, you're not gonna have to go and fight somebody to get your money.
Yeah, I looked that up last night. It said to go ahead and file, like you said, and then let them determine what they'll give you.
Okay. And then to clarify though, the parent needs to be claiming the child's in order to potentially receive that child tax credit, correct? So if there is something set in stone with the courts or whatever that says you are not the person that's claiming the child regularly, they should not be trying to get this money, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And Miranda, there is an on irs.gov, there is an FAQ out there, and it has the answers to these exact questions for the exact question that you answered. If there are split filers, if there are divorce decrees that says every other year. So maybe we can put that IRS FAQ in our social media link so that individuals that are in this situation can get authoritative literature from the IRS on guidance.
Absolutely. I can add that to the chat. So then if I have a child that qualifies, but what happens if I don't have a social security number, but my child does? Am I still eligible?
The IRS, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, go ahead, Tersina. You're
Okay.
the pro.
The IRS requires that you have a social security number or an I-10, that's the individual income tax number in order to claim the benefits. So you do have to have the Social Security number or the I-10.
And then with that also, if I do have the I-10 number and I'm qualified to move forward with that, would this potentially impact any of my immigration status or ability to get a green card, or even any current benefits that I receive, such as WIC or SNAP?
No, you would not be, that any credits that you receive from the IRS, the child tax credit or any other credits cannot be included as income for determining what other benefits, either federal or state benefits that you would receive. No, those benefits would not count against, I mean, those credits would not count against you in order to receive the benefit.
And that's important because all those services or benefits or helping programs, assistance programs are income-based.
Right.
So then we've talked about getting your money and everything. What happens? How do I get my money? You know, I file these taxes, I file all these forms, I do what I'm supposed to do, but will I get a check? If someone's not usually regularly filing taxes and they don't have maybe a direct deposit set up or anything like that, what are your options for that?
So the individual can request direct deposit. They can request a paper check. The IRS also has a debit card, so they can request a refund on an IRS debit card if they'd like, and it can be used just as any other debit or credit card when it's received in the mail.
Wonderful. That's really good to know. And then we covered this a little bit, but I just want to clarify it a little bit more. So if a family does not regularly have a tax, if a family does not regularly file taxes and they have that history of not regularly filing taxes, but then they decide, hey, I want to get this money, I'm going to file taxes. Should a family be concerned about that? Would any red flags pop up with the IRS saying, hey, you haven't done this for X amount of years and now you're doing it, let's work backwards a little bit?
There will be no red flags, Miranda, but what I will say, especially since we're specifically talking about the child tax credit, and I know this is a recording, so for 2021 tax year only, to date, the child tax credit is a refundable credit. And what that means is, even if you didn't have any income, if you meet the other eligibility requirements, the individual is eligible to get a refund because it is a refundable credit. That could stick, and the law could be that way unconditionally, but to date, it's not. It's only for tax year 2021. So yes, they can file. There are no red flags because this is a new law instituted to help with the American Rescue Plan because of the pandemic. So it's kind of a one-time thing, but again, there are potential for extension, but for now it is a refundable credit. And that's why it's kind of a bigger deal this year than it has been in the past.
So a family should not have reservations of moving forward with this, even though they don't have a steady tax filing history.
Correct.
Correct.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we know this does get complicated. We know a lot of times it's confusing, right? So it's good to have local resources that you can turn to. We already talked about the IRS website, which, like I mentioned, I will add that link to the comment section on Facebook, but also more localized resources for calling to ask a question or even getting that tax assistance preparation for free. So I would like to, since I know both of you are part of organizations that offer free tax assistance, I would like you to just briefly talk about how can someone get involved, how can someone call your office, contact your office, and just what are the steps needed for them to get your free assistance.
For the Urban League with the VITA program, which is the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, They can call the office here at the Urban League. We have a dedicated tax line where our clients will call in, they'll leave their name and their phone number, and we ask that they leave a daytime phone number, and then someone will call them back during the week. Our callbacks are usually Monday through Wednesday, and they will be called back to set an appointment. They will be given the information on what they need. They have the option of coming in, picking up some advance forms to get the taxes done and have it available when they come for their appointment. And they can get their taxes done here, as you said, for free. We have two lines, two numbers. The number here at the Urban League, our number is 219-980-2093. We also have partners at Northwest Indiana Community Action out in Crown Point, and their number is 219-794-1829. So to have your taxes done with the VITA program here, those are the two lines two numbers that they can call.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tersina. And can you just briefly mention what is the time frame we're talking of from dropping off the documents or meeting in person for the documents and actually filing?
Generally, they'll drop the documents off. They come in, and it's not just they walk in, hand it to us, and leave. We still have a process where we have to interview them and go over and make sure we have everything that we need for the tax filing. But we set it up so that they'll drop it off this week, and generally they'll pick it up the next week, usually on the same day. If it was a Monday drop off, if it's available for the client, if it's convenient for the client, then they'll pick up on a Monday. But hopefully sometime during that next week, they'll be able to get it. So it's not like you drop it off this week and maybe you'll get it sometime next month. It's pretty convenient for the clients and for our volunteer preparers.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's a nice streamlined service. Runs really well, like a nice oiled machine, right, Tersina?
We try to make it that way anyway.
Yeah, a lot of clients come through for this purpose.
They do.
Wonderful. And then Mayoris, if you could talk a little bit about how Faith CDC can offer some tax assistance.
Okay, so Faith CDC. So our phone number, we have a dedicated line also, and that phone number is 219-567-1525. And it's a dedicated line. And so when an individual calls, they will leave their name, their phone number, and if possible, an email address, and we will return the phone call. And the process is we will contact them back. We will do an interview over the phone. We have an online secure portal where documents can be uploaded. And so once we talk to the individuals, we will get more information. If they feel comfortable, they can upload their documents into the secure portal. Time frame is similar to what Tersina mentioned, is 5 to 7 day turnaround time for tax preparation. Because of COVID, we're still trying to do a lot of things from a hybrid perspective. So as little contact, face-to-face contact as possible. We do intend to have pop-up sites throughout the tax season, and we haven't quite solidified that information yet, but as we do, we will keep everyone abreast throughout these meetings. But again, that number is 219-567-1525, and please leave your name, your phone number, and an email address.
I'd like to mention too, as Mayoris said, because of COVID, we are taking the steps to keep everybody safe. And that was one reason we went to the drop off, where previously we would do the taxes, in person when the client came in. So the drop off is a measure to try to make everyone be safe, but we're also requesting and requiring that our clients wear the mask. We have notification up reminding us that we want both your nose and your mouth covered, because we tend to let the mask slip at times, but we have notices up to remind our clients about those things and ourselves. And we do have social distancing. So, and we have sneeze guards and, all those things. We do sanitize after each client, and we make sure that we're doing all that we can to keep our volunteers and our clients safe.
Wonderful. That is very important. So everyone feels comfortable. So thank you so much. We're almost 25 minutes after. So thank you so much for joining us today and providing such great information around the child tax credit. As a reminder, we will be continuing these short tax chats. Our next topic will be on how to find quality tax assistance programs. So we will be going a little more in depth about the VITA services and what Faith CDC offers, as well as just if you don't want to use either of those services, how can you find a quality source in your community that you know you can trust. So that will be on Friday, February 25th at 10 a.m. Same format, Facebook Live and Zoom. So keep an eye out for that. And with that, thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, and same to you.